Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the CK English Podcast. I'm Chris. Today, we're doing something different. We aren't just learning English, we are traveling through time. Imagine a house. If you take away the roof, the house stays. If you take away the windows, the house stays. But what if you take away the memory of the people who lived there? Then the house is truly gone. Iran, or Persia as many know it, is a house that has been attacked, burned, and broken for 6,000 years. Yet the people never left. The memory never died. Today, we look at the spirit of Persia. We will explore how a culture survives when the world tries to end it. For my English learners, pay attention to the word resilience. Resilience is the ability to become strong again after something bad happens. This is the story of human resilience. Our story begins long before kings wore crowns. 4,000 years before Christ, in a land of high mountains and salt deserts, a people called the Elamites began to build. They built Susa, one of the oldest cities in the world. Think about that.
In 550 BC, Cyrus the Great united the tribes. He didn't just build an empire, he built the Achaemenid Empire, the largest the world had ever seen. But Cyrus was different. In ancient times, when a king conquered a city, he usually killed the people and took their gold. Cyrus did something mind-blowing. He let the people go home. He told the Jews in Babylon they could return to Jerusalem. He said, "You can keep your religion. You can keep your language." We know this because of this object, the Cyrus cylinder. Many historians call this the first declaration of human rights. Cyrus understood a deep truth. You cannot truly own a person's soul. You can only lead them if they respect you. For you learning English, notice the title he took, the King of Kings, Shahan Shah. He wasn't just a king, he was a leader of other leaders. Under his successors, like Darius the Great, Persia built the Royal Road, a highway stretching 2,500 kilometers. They created the first postal service. Ancient writers like Herodotus said of the Persian mail carriers, "Neither snow, nor rain, nor heat, nor gloom of night stays these couriers from the swift completion of their appointed rounds." Does that sound familiar? It is the same motto used by the U.S. Postal Service today. But, as we know in every great story, when a character reaches the top, there is always a shadow waiting to fall. And that shadow came from the west, carrying a Greek sword.
In 330 BC, the unthinkable happened. The house of Persia was set on fire. Alexander the Great, a young king from Macedonia, did what no one thought possible. He defeated the King of Kings. Alexander burned Persepolis to the ground. Historians say it was an act of revenge, but for the Persians living then, it felt like the end of the world. Imagine your history, your records, and your holiest temples turning to smoke in a single night. But here is a beautiful English word for you, assimilation. This means when two different things mix together to become one. Alexander conquered Persia with the sword, but Persia conquered Alexander with its culture. Alexander began to wear Persian clothes. He married a Persian princess, Roxana, and he forced his generals to marry Persian women. The Greek interruption didn't destroy Persia, it became a part of it. After the Greeks came the Parthians. They were the guardians of the Silk Road. For nearly 500 years, they were the only wall the Roman Empire could not break. English learners, have you ever heard the phrase, a parting shot? It means a final remark or insult made as someone leaves. This comes from the Parthian shot, a military tactic where their horsemen would pretend to retreat, then turn around and shoot arrows at the confused enemy. But the true rebirth came with the Sasanian Empire in 224 AD. If the Achaemenids were the childhood of Iran, the Sasanians were its magnificent adulthood. They didn't just fight, they thought. They built the Academy of Gandhishapur, the world's most important center of science and medicine. While Europe was entering the Dark Ages, Iran was a lighthouse of knowledge. Doctors from India, Greece, and Syria all came to Persia to study. They created art that took your breath away. They wove carpets so complex they looked like gardens. They lived with a philosophy of good thoughts, good words, good deeds. But there is a tragedy in history. Power often leads to exhaustion. By the year 600 AD, the Sasanian Empire and the Roman Empire had been fighting for centuries. Both were tired. Both were broke. Both had forgotten the human side of their people. The Iranian people were heavily taxed. The spirit of the nation was weary. They were like a giant tree that looked strong on the outside, but was dry on the inside. And from the deserts of the south, a new wind was blowing. A wind that would change the language, the religion, and the soul of Iran forever. In the year 651 AD, the Sasanian Empire fell to the Arab armies. This was more than a change of government. It was a total transformation. A new religion, Islam, arrived. A new language, Arabic, became the language of law, science, and God. For many nations, this is where their original story ends. Their old language dies. Their old customs disappear. But Persia was different. In English, we have a phrase, to go underground. It means to continue doing something in secret or out of sight. The Persian spirit went underground. They didn't fight with swords anymore. They fought with their minds. During the Islamic Golden Age, Persian scholars became the engine of the world's knowledge. Think of names like Avicenna, Ibn Sina, the father of modern medicine, or Al-Khwarizmi, the man who gave us algebra. They wrote in Arabic so the whole world could read their work, but their hearts remained Persian. They kept their traditions alive in their homes, during the spring festival of Nowruz, and in the way they told stories. But there was a danger. After 300 years of Arabic rule, the Persian language, the very soul of the people, was fading. It was becoming a language of the past. Then
For almost 900 years after the Arab conquest, Iran was ruled by different empires, Turks, Mongols, and local kings. But in 1501, a boy named Ismail, only 14 years old, changed everything. He established the Safavid dynasty. He did something that would forever separate Iran from its neighbors. He made Shia Islam the official state religion. This gave the Iranian people a new, distinct identity. An identity is who you are. It is what makes you different from others. Under the Safavids, art and architecture exploded. They built the city of Isfahan, which was so beautiful that a famous Persian proverb was born. Isfahan nesf-e-jahan. Isfahan is half the world. But this beauty could not hide Iran from the rising power of the modern world. By the 1800s, under the Qajar dynasty, Iran was no longer an isolated kingdom. It became a playground for superpowers. To the north, the Russian Empire. To the south, the British Empire. They didn't conquer Iran with massive armies. Instead, they conquered it with contracts, loans, and bribes. The Iranian people watched as their kings gave away their lands, their resources, and their dignity. For English learners, the word here is exploitation.
In 1979, the Islamic Revolution completely reshaped Iran. The Shah left, and a new Islamic Republic was born. But before the nation could even breathe or rebuild, a devastating neighbor attacked. The Iran-Iraq War lasted for 8 painful years. It became the longest conventional war of the 20th century. For the Iranian people, this wasn't a war of machines. It was a war of human sacrifice. A generation of young Iranians was lost. Yet inside the homes of Iran, life refused to stop. Women stepped up to keep society running. Families shared what little bread they had with their neighbors. The human bond did not break. It grew stronger because of the shared pain. For the last few decades, leading all the way up to today in 2026, Iran has faced intense sanctions. In English, sanctions are economic punishments or walls built by the outside world to isolate a country. But if you look past the political headlines, you see something miraculous. You see one of the youngest, most highly educated populations in the Middle East. You see legendary filmmakers winning Oscars, brilliant scientists breaking ground, and young women standing up with immense, breathtaking courage for their human rights. The outside world might build economic walls, but the spirit of Persia always finds a way to look over them. Think of Iran's history not as a timeline of kings, but as a grand, hand-woven Persian carpet. Every single conquest, the Greeks, the Arabs, the Mongols, and modern geopolitical pressures, is just a different colored thread. The invaders thought they were destroying the carpet, but the Iranian people simply absorbed them into the pattern. Because of Ferdowsi's Shahnameh and because of their unbreakable language,